Yeah, exactly. So, yes, the answer is 26. I don't believe in age. I think that's limiting. I know you have to label people and you're going to, you're 30 or 40. Great. However, most people spend the first 40 years of their life saying they're too young and the last 40 years saying they're too old.
Mm-hmm.
So I've made a decision to focus on my competence, right? Believing in things, not limiting myself. Learning things, living a life of learning and being curious and listening and learning and doing things, man, doing things.
So let me ask you a question. Where do people follow you?
J Doran, Jaydoran, YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn. Best way right now to follow me.
No Instagram?
Oh, and yes, Jdoran_culture matters is my Instagram. And
you guys gotta follow this dude.
I have 710 videos like this on my YouTube channel.
He's a fun,
Free 710.
very animated.
Yeah.
Almost a character, I would say.
Persona.
I'm a character.
You are a character. I gotta say, I really appreciate you as a human being, because who you are online is who you are in person, and that's one of my principles I live by. Is I'm not gonna change who I am on or offline. I need to be me, because that's why I'm doing this, is to be me. And
how important do you think that is for people?
If you're not you, you're dead, from any sense of
Well,
like.
you're pretending to be something you're not.
Well, all you are your thoughts. So if you're telling people one thing and you're telling people another thing here, then what are you? You're confused. I'm sorry. I'm here to help.
Or fake. Or
100%.
Or trying to make other people happy, which will never end up making you happy. Am I lying? I always like to keep it real for one reason. Because I think if you don't keep it real, eventually the world around you will crash, because you're building relationships based on falsehoods.
100%.
You're acting like you like something when you don't. Like when I was younger, I hung around a bunch of jocks, and they were all into sports, and I really didn't follow sports too much. So I couldn't sit there and talk about, what's going on with so-and-so, and it always amazed me how the hell they knew who was drafted, who wasn't drafted, what the coach's name was. I was like, who gives a shit? And so I basically said, who gives a shit? Ultimately, I didn't fit in. So sure enough, pretty soon I didn't hang around them. Those same dudes, still at the same frickin' town I grew up in, working at the gas station, owning the tire shop, they're still they're still there because they were so interested in sports that they weren't paying attention to opportunity. Not to say everybody's that way, but if I would have been fake and I would have tried to act as if, I'm a sports nut too, and just played that game, perhaps, not saying for sure, perhaps I'd still be in that town hanging around those fools. I say be yourself. You'll attract the people that you want around you, or should have around you, based on universal law, and you'll repel those that shouldn't be.
100%.
What do you think about that?
It's making me think, were you someone growing up inquisitive? You ask a lot of questions.
Absolutely.
That alone is going to lead to new thoughts.
Yeah.
And thinking is a conductor of opportunity. And if another human is not thinking and you are, that's like I'm running and they're walking. Bye.
So if you had to give some small business owners, small medium-sized business owners, some advice about how to create culture, what would that advice be?
Number one, they need to write down, if they were, I give you this example. Let's say they're driving on the highway and they see a billboard and it says a word that they believe defines them, like grit, or yours is integrity. Let's use you as an example.
Okay.
To you, in one sentence, you're driving down the road and you see a billboard and integrity pops up, that word. What does that mean to you in a sentence? If you would explain that to someone else that doesn't know what integrity means to you, Brad.
That you will do what you say you're going to do, whether it hurts or not.
Pause. Okay. We found, most likely, and we'd have to audit this with your behaviors, not what you want to be, but who you are, potentially one of your core intrinsic behavioral values. With that context or that explanation, that can become your people's value when you use that as part of the training. To take that, for example, say what you just said again.
That you'll do, basically, we have 3 core values here.
Yep.
Here at Lightspeed.
Sure.
You know what they are?
I know that's integrity, do the right thing.
Well, 1 is do the right thing.
Got it.
2 is do the best you can.
Got it.
And 3 is show people you care. We keep it simple.
Okay. So you take that simplicity, It's one of the most driving forces in the universe. It's called heuristics. You take that simplistic term, that context, and you use it as a tool to teach something, like making a phone call to a prospect or having a conversation with a customer. In your training, you use that value as something. Most people aren't clear on who they are. All the business is your values. See, when you start growing the business, it's you as the leader, like doing stuff. And then people either like you and trust you and do stuff with you, or they don't.